a hacker stole $611 million, then gave it all back. On August 10, 2021, an unknown attacker drained every cent from Poly Network's wallets. It took 14 minutes. The theft shattered records. It was the largest cryptocurrency hack ever recorded. Bigger than Mt. Gox. Bigger than Coincheck. Bigger than anything the crypto world had ever seen. Security experts called it unstoppable. Law enforcement had no jurisdiction. The money vanished across 3 different blockchains: Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon. Each transaction was permanent and irreversible. The hacker controlled it all. But then something impossible happened. Poly Network didn't call the FBI. They didn't hire elite cybersecurity firms. They didn't threaten lawsuits. Instead, they published an open letter. A public plea. They literally begged the hacker to give the money back. And here's the part that makes no sense: it worked. Within 48 hours, the hacker started returning the funds. All $611 million came back. But nobody noticed what was really happening. The truth was far darker than a simple white hat test. Poly Network was a bridge protocol. It connected different blockchains together. Think of it like a highway between crypto ecosystems. Users could move assets from Ethereum to Binance Smart Chain, or from Polygon to any other network. The company handled billions in transactions. But bridges are vulnerable. They hold massive amounts of cryptocurrency in smart contracts. These contracts are supposed to be locked tight. Poly Network's contracts controlled over $600 million on August 10, 2021. The company had 3 key custodians. These custodians held the private keys. You needed 2 out of 3 signatures to move funds. It was supposed to be unhackable. The hacker saw something nobody else did. A flaw in the contract code. Not a backdoor. Not a stolen password. A logical vulnerability in how the system verified signatures. At exactly 2:24 p.m. Universal Time Coordinated, the attack began. The hacker created a fake transaction. They manipulated the contract into thinking they were a legitimate custodian. The system handed over control. Within minutes, funds poured out. $85 million on Polygon. $273 million on Ethereum. $253 million on Binance Smart Chain. Every wallet drained to zero. Blockchain analysts watched in real time. They could see the theft happening. But they couldn't stop it. That's the nightmare of decentralized finance. No central authority can reverse transactions. No bank can freeze accounts. Once the money moves, it's gone. Poly Network's team watched their entire protocol collapse. They had no legal recourse. No insurance. No government protection. What they did next shocked everyone. Poly Network published an open letter on Twitter. The message was desperate. We want to establish communication with you. The amount of money you hacked is the biggest in DeFi history. Law enforcement in any country will regard this as a major economic crime. You will be pursued. Then came the twist. We urge you to return the hacked assets. They were begging. A company that just lost $611 million was publicly pleading with their attacker. Security experts couldn't believe it. This wasn't how you respond to cybercrime. But Poly Network had no choice. The hacker controlled funds across 3 blockchains. Those assets were technically movable but practically trapped. Here's what nobody understood at first. Moving $600 million in crypto is nearly impossible. Every exchange monitors for stolen funds. Every major wallet tracks blacklisted addresses. The hackers' addresses were flagged within hours. Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao tweeted the attackers' wallet addresses. Tether froze 33 million USDT tokens. Circle blacklisted assets on their end. The hacker couldn't cash out. They couldn't move funds to exchanges. They couldn't swap for other cryptocurrencies. They were sitting on $600 million they couldn't spend. But here is what nobody noticed. The hackers started communicating. They embedded messages directly into blockchain transactions. Each message was a transaction note visible to everyone. I did it for fun. Always so sophisticated. I'm not very interested in money. They called themselves Mr. White Hat. Claimed this was a security test. Said they wanted to expose the vulnerability before real criminals found it. The crypto community was divided. Some believed it. Others called it manipulation. Then the hacker made a demand. They wanted immunity. Complete legal protection before returning the funds. Poly Network agreed immediately. They created a multi-signature wallet. Called it the White Hat address. Gave the hacker control of one key. On August 11, 2021, the first funds returned. $4 million. Then $50 million. Then more. But the biggest reveal was still coming. By August 23, 2021, all $611 million was returned. The crypto world celebrated. Media called it the White Hat hack of the century. Poly Network offered the hacker a $500,000 bounty. They offered them a job as chief security advisor. The hacker refused both. But security researchers weren't buying the story. Slowmist, a blockchain security firm, had been tracking the attacker. They found something disturbing. The hacker's initial movements revealed their identity. They had used a centralized exchange in the first transactions. That exchange had KYC data. Know Your Customer verification. Real identity documents. Slowmist claimed they knew exactly who the hacker was. They shared details with law enforcement. The truth started emerging. This wasn't a white hat operation. The hacker had tried to steal the money. They used multiple mixing services. They attempted to obscure transaction trails. They tried swapping assets across different protocols. Every action showed intent to keep the funds. But they made one critical mistake. They underestimated how fast the crypto community would respond. Within 2 hours of the hack, every major exchange was watching. Wallet addresses were blacklisted globally. The hacker realized they were trapped. They couldn't move the money without exposing themselves. They couldn't cash out without getting arrested. Returning the funds wasn't generosity. It was survival. Law enforcement was closing in. Slowmist had their identity. Exchanges were cooperating with authorities. The hacker faced decades in prison. Returning the money was the only way out. The White Hat story was a cover. A desperate attempt to avoid criminal charges. But Poly Network played along. Why? Because getting the money back mattered more than prosecution. They needed those funds to stay solvent. Their users needed to be made whole. The company never confirmed the hacker's identity publicly. No arrests were ever announced. No charges were filed. The case just disappeared. Security experts believe a deal was made. Complete anonymity in exchange for full restitution. The hacker vanished. Poly Network survived. And everyone pretended it was a security test all along. But one detail proves the truth. The hacker kept control of their wallet keys throughout the return process. They could have stopped at any moment. They could have kept millions. But they returned every single dollar. That's not the behavior of a security researcher. That's the behavior of someone who knows they're caught. The Poly Network hack exposed decentralized finance's biggest lie. These systems aren't truly decentralized. When $600 million was stolen, the response was completely centralized. Exchanges froze assets. Companies blacklisted wallets. Private firms traced the hacker. The myth of unstoppable blockchain technology shattered. But here's what should terrify you. Poly Network was lucky. The hacker made mistakes. They left traces. They used a KYC exchange. A more careful attacker would have succeeded. And that attack is coming. As of 2024, over $200 billion sits in DeFi protocols. Most have similar vulnerabilities. Most have inadequate security. The next Poly Network hack won't end with a happy ending. The next hacker won't make mistakes. They'll study what went wrong in 2021. They'll avoid centralized exchanges. They'll use better mixing techniques. And when they strike, no amount of begging will bring that money back. The Poly network case set a dangerous precedent. It showed that crypto companies will negotiate with criminals. They'll offer immunity to recover funds. They'll lie about what really happened. And the whole industry will go along with it. Because admitting the truth would destroy confidence. If people knew how vulnerable these systems really are, billions would flee. So the lie continues. White hat hackers. Security researchers. Good faith actors. But you know the truth now. Subscribe to Black Vault for investigations that expose what the tech world doesn't want you to know. Because the next $600 million hack is already being planned. And this time, nobody's getting their money back. Subscribe and hit the bell for a new dark truth every day.